forgot that I forgot how to do like the Discord ping, so I had to like look up how I did it last time, and then I had to like copy the URL and stuff. Hello, everybody. It's been a couple weeks. I didn't mean to like come back for a day and then disappear again. I'll explain that in a sec. But let me say hello to everyone. Hello, username. Good to see you. Let me switch to the live audio. It's a little bit louder, but I think our levels are okay. Kevin, good to see you. OMS, awesome to see you too. Shout out Poitso for being in a horrible time. So, yeah, 3:30 a.m. I hope he gets some sleep. And Kuro, good to see you too. So for those of you who, if you're on Twitch, I don't know if the title, no, the title's wrong. YouTube, you have the right title. Each year, I challenge myself to try to make a horror game before Halloween. And I usually start around August, which is now. I think I started a little bit later than I usually do. No, August 5th. We're good, we're on time, Some might say I've begun early. I would disagree. Have I ever actually accomplished this? Once, and it was buggy and didn't really work that well, and I didn't have anywhere near as much time as I wanted to complete it. So, whoops. You know what? We'll probably do better this year. You joined this channel for the first time when you were doing this last year. We're already back. It has been a year. Yeah, it's crazy. Buggy is better than none, though. Yeah, I remember just booking through like the final bug fixes with it. You know what? That's a good way to start. For those of you who maybe haven't seen it, let's go ahead and jump into it. I won't play I'll play part of it because the entire thing's like 5-10 minutes, but it's something I want to revisit at some point. And I felt like I really didn't do the ending justice, so when I revisit it, I want to like fix that part. But I'll kind of show off like some of the best of what we kind of made together on stream. No, we're not going to get to the point of the music box. Don't worry. Well, not yet. We might at some point during the Halloween season finally come back there. But also, while that's loading, how's everyone doing? How was your summer? Hopefully you've been staying cool. For those of you who unfortunately have to get ready to go back to school, I'm sorry. But you know what? Enjoy it, because you really only get to do that for so long, and then next thing you know, you have to pay taxes, and it's like, oh, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing you don't want to be part of. It's a whole thing. All right, screen capture time. Hopefully, screen capture is a bit dangerous because it plays the audio jump scare. So give me a sec. It might play an audio jump scare. Don't worry about it. I'll turn it off. Okay, it did not play the audio jump scare. You may unprepare yourself. So this is the pause menu. You have engine scalability settings, quit and resume, peak UI design. But this is essentially a ghost game in a high school. So this is where the thumbnail would come from. A lot of the time that I spent was like learning how to make those unique shapes here in Blender. So those are actually, I forgot what the term is, but they're like normal maps. So I don't think I have the editor open. But like, it casts shadows as if they're really there on the model, but they're not, which means I can render them for a lot cheaper. I think the doors are a better example. Oh, not the doors, but these little pillars down here. These little wood, I don't know what you would call these. Panels. You can see, like, again, they react to like the light of my flashlight. They seem to cast shadows. And they seem to have a bit of depth, particularly when you're moving around. But that's also just kind of a trick of the material itself. And then we added some light mechanics. Oh, here's another thing. On Halloween night, what we did, I think it was Halloween night, or is either Halloween night or the stream before Halloween. There's a pumpkin carving game. Oh, she turned the lights off. Where it lets you just kind of like all join into one open world and carve pumpkins. And so I took photos of some of your guys' pumpkins, or with some of you guys yourself. So that's what those are for. And then some people in the Discord, can't turn my flashlight off because it's too bright, made some school posters that we put up here. So I might do something like that again. Oh. Anyway. I'm trying to remember where a lot of my time went when making this. I think it was fixing a lot of the code for like the inventory, or not the inventory, for like the character controller, and then in Blender, a lot of it was spent in Blender. So like one of the other things I made was like this keypad, where like if you type in the right passcode, and I'm pretty sure it's Lisa, it opens up and then you can pick up an item. I didn't actually get around to opening it or making an inventory at this point. I don't have it here either. I started working on it in the same project a few months ago, and so we're going to kind of jump back to that. Although this is Unreal Engine 4, and let's also change the quality setting to Epic, because we've been playing on low up until now. And so here we can kind of see a little bit more about what it looked like high scale. We can see the cookies better on the flashlight. And I mentioned this, I think, last stream, that just the overall low quality setting on Unreal Engine 4 looks pretty good for like a low poly old horror game without having to put like the filters over it, because it's just naturally struggling. Capcom are the kings of normal maps. Yeah. Capcom are just like, they've been knocking it out of the park since like RE7. Yeah. All right, let's go back to Backdrop. We're going to jump immediately into... Let's see. I mentioned, I think in the Discord, there's one of two things that we might do today. You know what? Let's jump into a drawing tool. And then I can kind of talk about what I want to make this time is. I've teased it a little bit. I wasn't super confident I would want to finish it, which is why I didn't talk about it too much, but now I'm kind of at the point where it's like, yeah, I really do want to work on this. So I'm a little bit more comfortable talking about it. It's nothing big, it's nothing fancy. It's taking a lot of what we've already worked on and just putting it into its own project and seeing if it works standalone before trying to fold it back into the main game project. Let's see. There we go. Next couple of streams are going to be storyboard brainstorming. Not too much of a story. Any of the story that's there is like something I've already kind of got pretty down from start to finish. It's like earlier in the year, I went on a whole like Backrooms binge, like particularly the Kane Parsons universe of it. And so I don't intend for this to be a Backrooms game, but more like liminal spaces. I think that's easy for me as someone who's like a mediocre artist, 3D artist that is, and also it gives me good opportunity to test the level generation system that I built a while ago. And so to kind of overall explain like how is it going to work, you have it, like the hub world of it is like a shopping mall. And it's kind of like grid-like here, to where, like, if any of you have been in an indoor shopping mall before, particularly in the US, just like potted plants, little carts here, and then on the edges you have the actual storefronts. And then as for how long it'll go in these directions, that could be like a scale. Or like have different tiers that the players can select This will mostly not be randomly generated. Like, I will manually populate these and then maybe loop it, or like have stuff within inside of it placed randomly. But this is mostly going to be static. The part that is really going to kind of test something that I've been trying to design for a while is the room gen stuff, to where most of the actual like level is going to be within these little shopping centers, and the idea isn't like these are all shops, but rather like there might be a front, then it opens up into like a different type of space. Kind of, I guess, like Mario 64, where it's like the hub is the castle, but then you go into a painting and then that's like its own world. Definitely much smaller than that. It's more so like you go into the shoe store, and then behind the shoe store back room is like, now you're just in like, I don't know, another liminal space. It has already been a year, I know. Time flies, time flies. Let me think of other things I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, one of the reasons I haven't been streaming too much is just I've been obviously working more often. And I finally got to the point where I caught up on enough of my work to where it's like, okay, I think I can work normal-ish hours and not have to cut into when I like working on my projects. But the next thing I want to pull up is the UI for like the inventory system. Probably one of the biggest inspirations I have with this so far is the Backrooms game, The Complex. I like how like laid back that one is, how simple it was, and it's just really about exploration. Compared that to something like Escape the Backrooms, which is very like, I don't know, it feels a little bit too structured. I like the idea of the players don't have to be fully zoned in to be able to play. So yeah, there might be a bit of hand-holding with my design, but I feel like especially because I'm a newer developer, it's better to hand-hold rather than risk making a game design or a game puzzle that doesn't make any sense, and people get frustrated and stuck. See, it feels like yesterday you were looking for pumpkins and jumping around on the moon. Oh yeah. I'm gonna do that again this year, by the way. Like, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, that's it's like the pumpkin festival thing. I'll put the link in chat at some point, like in the Discord at some point, so that way if anybody wants to check it out, it is free. I don't know if they've started the servers this early on, but it's free. I think it was an itch.io game. It might be on Steam now at this point. But it was just cool. It was a pumpkin carving game. It was a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. You have a playlist with all of your streams. Can you please share it? Yeah, kind of. The YouTube channel, if you go to like the live tab, has a lot of them. A lot of them have like music that I needed to edit out and I just didn't, so I privated them. Or like, I want to at some point go through and like edit them. But the live tab is going to have most of what I've done. Unknown. Let me see. One day he will actually organize his future streams. Yes. That day is not today. Speaking of organizing, I just realized you guys couldn't see my screen and no one told me. So this is the new inventory menu. As opposed to like, this is an overhaul from the one that we've been using. So this is the one that we'll see in the bigger game that I've been working on since 2024, Return on this day. But we're also going to reuse this for the Halloween game. And so these props here, if you haven't tuned in, for some time. These are like mall props that I made. This was my attempt at making leaves, and I think this tree actually turned out okay. The problem is I think it's super high poly. Which, let's turn on FPS. So it's sitting at 120, which actually is not bad. We could work with this. Not reuse. No, it's gonna. We're gonna. Yeah. Don't worry about it. So oddly enough, I got the inventory working better in Unreal Engine 4 than I did here. So let's also, you know what? We've come this far. Let's open up Unreal Engine 4 too, so I can show how it's supposed to work. And then we can try to fix it. Also, since I talked about how we're making a Liminal Spaces horror game, if any of you have like, if you happen to have like a playlist or just like an album of liminal space photos, don't dox yourself. I'm talking like stuff on the internet that you saw and maybe liked on Instagram. Send that in the Discord. Give me ideas for inspiration. You've been through so much since last year, mostly not the best experiences. Oh man. Thankful for your responses back then. Thanks, man. I'm glad to see you. Welcome back. Hopefully all the stuff that's been not so great to reflect on is behind you now. I know. From this point on, we just have a lot of good experiences left. I always find, I say this all the time, I personally feel like January through like May are just filler. Then you kind of have summer, which is fun, mostly because of the freedom that it buys you from school and sometimes work. And then of course you have the fun months, like August, or not August. I start Halloween early, which is why I include August, but like September, October down into December. If UE6 turns out the way they say, will you go all C++, try verse or something else? I will probably just do all C++. I'll be so for real with you. I think C++ is going to be more versatile. It might be easy to make like small prototypes in verse. But the reason I think it's better for me to get better at C++, rather than trying to learn a new proprietary tool, is, and this is just personal feelings on this, is because C++ you can take that skill and throw it really anywhere else. Can't quite do that with something like verse. Another thing too is it's a lot easier to revision control C++ because it's text, which means in like your GitHub editor, you can see what changes you've made over time. And let's say you made a change in, like, if I made a change back in May, and then here I am, I made a whole bunch of changes since then, here we are now in August, and it's like, oh, actually that change I made in May, I want to undo just that, but it's in like the middle of your player file. You can just very quickly say, hey, undo this change if it's C++. Not so much if it's like a binary file, like blueprints are, and I would imagine verses too, unless they somehow get it to work. What's the news on UE6? I'm the wrong person to ask. Boss taking notes to give you more C++ work. Epic is killing blueprints. Yeah, that's the latest I've heard. It's easier for AI to code. That's also true. I don't know if that's the only reason, but I feel like you're definitely going to see a lot of AI slop made in Unreal Engine 6. So be prepared for that. All right, so the way that the inventory is meant to work is here it is. So the scaling is still off. My hopes and dream is that this isn't an issue like in play, because this will always be like a 16:9 aspect ratio. I'm sure there's a way to fix this to where it's no longer a problem if I scale it like that. But I am not the person to ask about that. So you can examine things, and you can see when you click, like the buttons respond. Even if you're not doing anything, and when you press use, this item cannot be used here. Realistically, this should say there's no item to use, or you have no items to use. Actually, maybe first person. I think first person would be better. Like, I have no items to use. But if we pick up an item... Oh, I hate that sound effect. I'm sorry about that. It says, hey, there's an item here. Pick it up. Say yes. And then there it is. That was a lantern, I guess. I don't remember why I prototyped it. If you can click on the object, it gives you its name down there. And then you can examine it. It gives you a brief description of it. You can drop it. And if you go back here, there it is. Essentially dropping it, when you pick it up, it deletes it. And then it just tells your player class, like, hey, you have this item. And if you want to use it, it just spawns it in again. Probably not the most efficient way to do that, but that's how I'm doing it. You can also use it. So here I'm using it, and I think if we walk around, yeah, I'm holding it now. And so now this is my light source. And then I think if I drop it, it preserves its state. Okay, it's supposed to. So if it was lighting up, it would stay lit up. And yeah, so like, this center console here is where your mini map would be. I like the idea of having this just all the stuff you need in one place. So you could like click to scroll around the minimap, zoom in, or maybe have like some zoom dials up here for a plus and minus to zoom in. And I talked about wanting it to be hand-holdy. It's going to be very much for the minimap like the Resident Evil 1 style, to where when you enter a room for the first time, it gets added to your map. If there are items in the room still, the room will be red. If you fully explored it, it'll be blue. I might even make it easier than that, and make it to where if the room has items in it that you can get right now, it'll be red. If the room has items in it that you need another item to get, or maybe you can't get yet, but you need to come back at some point, it'll be yellow. And then it'll turn red once you acquire that thing. And so people who are lost can always just jump back to their map and see what rooms are red. Also using the map to like show what items are in there. So if you pick something up, like the lantern, and then you drop it, it will show on the map where you dropped that at. Because you are limited in inventory space, I don't really plan to have like the Resident Evil style boxes. You can just drop stuff. So that's the intention. Minimap obviously doesn't work here. I haven't gotten that part yet because the minimap is going to depend directly on the room implementation stuff, which I haven't really gotten to yet. I have the back end for it done, but not the actual implementation of it. Yeah, Unreal Engine 4 back then was just to get it to port into browser easily. And the reason I started to fix the UI here in Unreal Engine 4 is because I would like to have this in my back pocket. Like, anytime Halloween comes around and I want to make just a quick horror game, having like a good template with like an inventory system, a mini-map system, an item system, and then all that's really left for me to do, you know, in those 3 months is to make the level and then design the puzzles. That would be nice to have. So that's my intention. Obviously, I'm not at that point yet. In this coming game, I want to be in Unreal Engine 5, so that's not going to be a browser playable game, just because of some of the the lighting features I want in it. So we'll go ahead and minimize that. We'll jump back into Unreal Engine 5, and we'll just kind of identify where we left off at. and what's remaining to do. I think I have an item over here already, which is a key. I think it's like in the floor. Let me see. Key. Ah, there it is. We'll go ahead and move it out here. There it is. So, let's jump in. And let's scale it correctly. So we can immediately see the buttons aren't reacting like they should, right? When I pressed examine in Unreal Engine 4, you could see the button get pressed down. So this is printing out correctly, like this item can't be used here. If we go and pick this up, that works. The text was off center, but I don't think I've gotten that yet. And then that was the fake thing I did it with. So key, so that's the name of the item. If I examine it, so examine just doesn't work. Drop doesn't work. Use doesn't work. Awesome. Also, I'm going to go back. I kept Unreal Engine 4 open in case I needed to jump back and forth between them to like either compare or show things off. But I am going to drop the quality down of both engines quite a bit just because I'm streaming this and I don't want it to eat too much of my computer's resources. Where are the oh, here it is, settings. Engine scalability, medium. You sent some images in game design. All right, let me take a peek. Oh, Daisy isn't awake. She's important. One sec. Let's wake her up. She's got the Discord link. Ooh, I like these. Oh, that last one I recognize. That first one, that gumball machine, that might be fun to try to build. Maybe we'll do that today at some point if I get tired of the trying to work with the UI. Okay. Let me test to see if Daisy's working. Yep. Should the inventory UI be an item? Hold on, let me finish reading that in a sec. Let me get the engine back on screen so you guys aren't looking at nothing. Oh, let me finish. I also missed another one of your messages. So it's a mega structure with more mini structures. Yeah. Should the inventory UI be an item, like some sort of gizmo you gotta find to make sense of the mini-map in items? Ooh. It could be. I don't think I need to dive that deep. I feel like I'm trying to think like how do like some popular horror games handle that, right? Instantly I thought of Silent Hill, where it's like they don't really have like they definitely blend their user interface into the world a lot, right? To where when you're looking at a map, you're looking at a map that you picked up, and then any notes you have are like handwritten notes. Compared to something like Resident Evil, you have like, you know, a heart rate monitor and then like this briefcase looking thing. So I guess they kind of blended it in, but it's a lot more sci-fi. As for this, I think we'll see. I think it's okay as is. But if for sure, at some point, I could expand to an item if I can think of like, if I can think of a reason why that would be good for like game design purposes. All right. First thing, I want to figure out why is the button not getting pressed. So let's go down here. Oh, that's just raw text. What is this panel? Hold on. Where's my button? Okay, the examine button. So on-click exists. So examine items is supposed to work. Does the key have a description? Yeah, item description, it's a key. Let's try that again, and let's see why. We'll work on that first, the examine button. Oh, what? That was weird. Endocopia, it's a very weird puzzle game. Is it spooky? Or is it just a puzzle? Okay, it does work. It's just what I think is happening is it's not lined up. So let's do this just to show this off, to show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, it does. Okay, so it is actually more lined up than I thought it would be. If I click on this directly, so when I click on the text, it blocks the button. When I click on the button itself, it does depress. So the issue there, bug problem or root cause number 1, is how I have the text set up. So let's go figure out how I did that here, which I think is in widgets, inventory menu. So okay, so here we can see that the examine text is the child of the exam button, and the exam button itself is a child of the options container. Options container is a child of the canvas panel. Compare that to this, that's not how that's happening. So let's try making that a child. Yeah, I think I remember why I did it like that last time. Okay. Why? Got the game link and recommendations? Okay, I'll take a peek later. Let's see. Actually, I'll take a peek now. I'm curious. Oh. That does look pretty interesting. Overwhelmingly positive. Man, that's the dream. Just to make a fun, cool indie game that gets overwhelmingly positive reviews. Have a good night, Raph. Take it easy. Good to see you again. Can we all collectively agree that Cain are the only good at Cain and Daisy are the only good AIs? Well, I don't know if people would agree about the Daisy part. Cain's also questionable. Hey, anyone here experienced with Unreal Engine? Said the Unreal Engine developer to his audience. Why is it doing this? And where'd the exam text even go? It's not under it. Okay. It was made by a YouTuber. He's got very interesting videos. Oh, speaking of YouTuber game developer, Legend64 is still working on his Ocarina of Time game. I'm tempted to kind of start making videos in the same format that he does for like development updates, so that there's finally more videos on the channel rather than just like multi-hour live streams. There's a video editor tool that like lets you edit the video by like giving you a transcript of all the words that you said, and when you remove like sentences, it removes that out of the video itself. So it's like if I'm talking about something interesting, I can keep that in, but if it's like, I don't know, we're going off about cheese for half an hour again. My last video was in fact 11 years ago, yeah. I do agree with the YouTube video thing being the best route. I don't know if it would just be clips of the lives, or if I should like try to structure something. Like make something over the course of the live streams, and then when it's in a good state, make a YouTube video showing it off and explaining how it was done. That might be the best way to do that. I've made no progress in finding this button or the text. I sound exactly the same as I did 11 years ago. That's because my voice dropped when I was 6 and then never changed again. Let that be a lesson to you. You've peaked already. Get over it. Okay. Okay, that's not true. That's not true. The best days are ahead of you. Cheese rants are more important to the lore than quizzing you in a month. Wait. They're quizzing you in a month on cheese, by the way. You need to start studying. Oh, no. Okay, so some of you might be saying, like, hey, it's like, these are both Unreal Engine. You can just copy and paste. And I tried that, and you're right. It does let me copy paste, but, like, it doesn't. So here, let's hide this. Is this suddenly gonna work? I'm gonna be so upset if this suddenly works. I have to make a whole, like, show about how it's not working. Why does this work? I did the exact same thing. What do you mean this is different? Now I gotta rename the buttons. I swear, I'm pretty sure I did this live too. Like, I tried copying and pasting, and it just straight up did not work. Also, why is it offset? The moldy sandwich. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know, but why the talk about cheese made me remember. I don't even know why we started talking about cheese. Hey, speaking of cheese, anybody know when these buttons are off center? But for some reason in Unreal Engine 4 they aren't. Like, the options container is kind of weird, but that shouldn't matter because I'm copying it into something that's the exact same size. I would think maybe the padding, but the padding is 0. Autofill, max, 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 right? Padding, okay, the padding here is 4 too. Let's see if it's the same. Okay, yeah, padding here is 4 too. The button is max, max, auto. Offset right, offset bottom? 5.1, 1.5. That, I don't know if this makes a difference, though. Oh, you guys also can't see when I jump back and forth unless I minimize the other one. Alright, noted. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Change in scale, maybe. I don't imagine... Yeah, let's see. 1 to 1 is the scale of options container. Let's go through. And then 1 to 1. And then if we check, like, each of the buttons. So if we select all buttons and they're all the same scale, it should tell us down here, and they are 1 to 1. I'm going to assume these are all the same scale here too. Yeah, 1 to 1. How about the font size? 32. Default. Left justified. 1 to 1. So 32 left justified. 1 to 1. Mono 1001. Let me make sure it's the exact same font. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, Mono 1001. Gouda, Munster, and cream cheese. I don't know if I've had Gouda or Munster. I had cream cheese though. Quarter and a half until midnight, and the cheese wheel will roll down the... Crazy. Yeah, you made my brain stop working. I had to, like, task manager close it. I would hope you've had cream cheese. I would hope everybody's had cream cheese. Alright, what's the best cracker to go with cream cheese, though? That's the question. That's the question. While you answer it, I'm gonna try to, like, just copy all of these values over. Oh, anchors are also... Maybe that's different? Okay. Can you guys remember these numbers? Like, all of them. The decimal points and all. Thanks. Are they different? Hold on. Can we smart this? Okay, those are the same. But the offset is not. I don't know what difference this makes, but I'm making it. Yeah, no, I don't know what that did. Oh, apparently this green box does nothing. Cool. Alright. How else can I fix this? Alright, that does nothing either. I was hoping just to, like, scale it. What's the actual exit button look like? Oh, it doesn't cover the whole thing. Wait, does it cover the whole thing in 4? Oh, no, it doesn't. Trick question crackers go with... I don't know how to pronounce that. Either on a bagel or just on a spoon. What? No, Ritz. Gotta hop on the Munster wagon. I guess so. Okay, the reason I paused is I'm thinking, do I even need the options container? Because I think this is essentially making a list. It's a variable. Is it a variable that I'm using, though? So no, I'm not using the options container. Except maybe just to hold it. Let me, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to Google if, like, what is the best use case for option containers? And, like, if it's even worth using. So, while I'm doing my research, is everybody excited for school? I don't know. What are kids talking about these days? Nah, I'm kidding. I think most of you all are adults. What was I gonna look up? Oh yeah, Unreal Engine 5. Your school offers game design classes? I wish I had that. My university did, and I took them, and it was a lot of fun. Cream cheese really does go well on a bagel. I agree. Okay, I'm going to say something controversial. Bagels are okay. They are not my first choice. They're probably not my second. Okay, so apparently, like, these containers are good for, like, if I want to do, like, operations against the whole set. So like hiding them all together, resizing them all together, adding or keeping consistent spacing. Alright, let me see what else it says about how to use it. They say use size fill. Okay. Now there's too much spacing. How do I... It said slot padding. I don't know what that means. There was a padding option. Is that slot padding? Oh, slot padding, yeah. It can't be negative though, can it? Because like these are two... Like they're overlapping also. Can I have a negative value here? I can. I don't know if that's doing what I want it to do though. I respect your bagel opinions, yeah, but that's kind of crazy. What would you rather put your cream cheese on? Cracker! Ritz! Wheat Thins! Not really toast. But cheese and crackers. I'm definitely not still in grade school with a job that I have 5 years experience now. Definitely not. I'm in a similar boat. I just want to buy a house, but I'm stuck. Select the button. Size fill, horizontal alignment fill. Alright, did that. Remove any width override from a surrounding size box. Oh. Oh, look at that. Guys, we're cooking. So wait a second. Why was this one messed up? Oh, this is all kind of messed up though. I don't really know if I want to try to fix this. Huh. What's everybody's opinion on everything bagel? I like those more. Like if you give me a pizza bagel, I appreciate that because that's just a pizza. It's not even a game jam. It's just like, all right, how long? Okay, when we get to an hour and 5 minutes, we'll swap to Blender. All right. I think the best solution is to just delete this. But to do that, we're gonna have to make these pressable. So let's see, on clicked, use button. There it is. I could have sworn to you that I did this last time. I tried copying and pasting and it didn't work. So why did it work this time? I mean, I guess I'm not upset that it works. I'm upset that it didn't work last time. Exit, 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 exit. It's all the way up there. See, this would have been easier to do in C++. But the issue is you can't really see the UI in C++. So we remove that. That can stay. That can stay. That goes away. That goes away. That goes away. Compile. Go here. Then we can delete these. Recompile. Okay, recompile, and then we can change the name back to what they ought to be. So options, container, keep this consistent naming convention with a capital at the beginning. Yeah, maybe we just couldn't afford bagels, and that's why I've disdain for him. Growing up, we couldn't afford them fancy bagel things. So now, does the name change over here too? It do. All right, let's see. Let's see if our buttons work. All right. They were... Oh, they drops too. But it's not doing like the cool little pressy animation. Oh. It didn't. Where'd the key go? Where did... Okay. The key dropping doesn't work. And I'm also sad that the button doesn't press. That's like, I don't know, quality of life. It's nice. I want it. Alright, let's see if, like, we give it the color. If we see it, like, depressed that way. Was I crazy? I thought in Unreal Engine 4, like, it went down a little bit. Didn't it do that? Yeah, look. I want that. Alright, back to the internet, I guess. It's now been a minute. Okay. Well, let's see if I can get the button thing to press. Oh, it's called pressed padding? Hold on. Oh. What is that? Does this have it too? Two, 3, 2, 1. It's different. Wait, appearance, style, pressed padding, normal pad. Okay, here it is. We're so close. Aha, look at that. Copy. Will it paste? Oh, what did I do? Where'd it go? Oh, it did. It just closed it. Okay. Don't know why it needed to close it to do that. And now we copy the pressed padding. See, okay. Why did that not copy in when I did the copy paste? Huh? Oh, look at that! Alright, I feel like that's good progress. I feel like if I try to make more, I'm gonna be upset because I'm not gonna do any good. I'm not gonna make anything good. I'm not gonna be able to make anything good. So let's put that back, save. Look at the buttons, guys. Hold on, you know what? Let's pick up the key too. Yeah. Oh, I dropped it. Hold on. Okay, well, we don't need to worry about where the key goes when you drop it. You know, sometimes you just lose things. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and close. I'm gonna close Unreal Engine. I'm gonna close. Here, while you guys wait, enjoy the ghost. Yeah, there it is. Woo! 7:10 already. Jeez. Close this, and then open up Blender. Alright, my Blender crashed. I hope I saved what I was working on last time. Okay, good, I did. I thought we're gonna make a new one. Okay, Blender time. I wanted to... So, I want to make the mall first, so that we have a good, like, a good hub area to start building off of. And, let's see. The Gumball Machine. There's not a lot of, here, let me show you. There's not a lot of detail there. Like, there's no gumballs in it. And it's also pretty far off, so it's hard to see, like, we can do this pretty easily, like the beveling. And then just make something pretty basic. I'm thinking start with a sphere and then extrude from beneath it. And we can add some of the textures in Substance Painter. Alright, we're gonna add mesh, icosphere. That's definitely enough. I'm trying to think if we could do less. And I have to remember size, so let me go ahead and get a mesh here. So this is 2 meters, to which a gumball machine is most certainly not bigger than that. So we can actually shrink this down a bit more. Let's actually bring the cube back. Put it over there. I'm trying to remember how big 2 meters is. I'm pretty sure like that's almost like 6 feet. It's like the size of a tall person. So this is probably like a good height, maybe? To try to emulate that big gumball machine. Maybe make it a little bit bigger and then a bit lower. Like a, I don't know, a 0.65? Either too big or too low. Maybe too big. .85. I mean, luckily for this, we can maneuver it pretty easily. Start with the top. That's pretty simple. Yeah, 1 meter is about 3.3 feet. Gotcha, gotcha. Good to know. Alright. I feel like there's a smart way to select everything within, like, this. But we'll just go and do this. So we are going to get rid of these. Actually, yeah. Delete the vertices. Then... actually, we might need to... Let's look back at the reference image. And only I'm going to be able to see it. Just freeze. Okay, no, I'll switch it back so you see what I'm talking about. I need to go a little bit higher up on the actual sphere that I'm doing right now. Minecraft Steve is 4 meters tall. Oh no, don't tell me that. What do you guys think? Here or one more? And it doesn't need to be exact. Like, I feel like I kind of vibe with this. I'm a little annoyed it's not flush. How do I do that? How do I fix this? There we go. And is it just... It's mostly straight. It looks like there is like a little bit of something going on, so let's do that. So scale. We'll do 1.5. And then, I'm trying to remember how to do this. Actually break this up into a couple. I'm snapping it to go so low just so that it goes straight down. Technically, I could have just pressed Z, which would have worked, but then I can just modify it here too. I'm not a Blender pro. I'm still kind of just considering myself a novice. Let's see. I'm tempted to pull this in a bit more. Be easier to do before. Well, let's see. Do this one at a time. I don't know, 0.95? I do like it being a little bit bigger on the bottom. Like that. Yeah, there we go. Want to get really fancy, we can also... Oh, I don't know if it's got enough space to do it. Oh, it's because they're too close together. Alright. Because of a lot of the operations I've been doing, I made a lot of duplicate vertices. So, easy cleanup. Mesh. Cleanup. Merge by distance. And then if it's like this close, so 0.0001 meter, delete it. And you can see down there, got rid of like 100. If you have a clean workflow, you don't need to worry about that, but I don't. I don't. So we make it nice and round. Going up. Now we shade smooth. Looks pretty good. We don't want all of these edges to be smooth, so we're gonna click this, mark sharp. This we want to be sharp too. This is smooth, so that's fine. This we want sharp. And this we want sharp. There we go. There's a way to make glass, and I've done it before, but I'll have to look back at how to do that. I don't know if that's a tonight adventure. We can for sure texture this. I'm just trying to think, do we want to add like the front to it now? In that reference image we got, we didn't get a good look at the front of it. And if any of you are just joining, we're making a Liminal Spaces horror game. So that's why we're making a gumball machine. There's like something going on that looks like it might be a sticker. I might just need to look at like Google to see what a gumball machine looks like. Not that I forgot, but like I kind of forgot. You think the dispenser goes inward? Because you have the place for the quarter and then you spin the thing. Is this an AI gumball machine that I just found? Hold on, I'm gonna post this image in the Discord so you guys can see. Like, how hard is it to get a gumball machine? Yeah, what is this? What is that at the bottom? I will say though, like, this is kind of what I'm thinking. Like, we have the twisty. We have, like, the coin slot, and then underneath the coin slot is where the gumball rolls out. And then maybe, like, a frame for the twisty. Now I want a gumball. Now I want gum. Alright, we gotta make a twisty knob. That's just gonna be a separate object, though. I think. People are just generating anything. Nice to hear. Thank you. And thanks for dropping by, Kevin. Good to see ya. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your week. And weekend. I might not be live this weekend, but next week. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so when it comes to something like this, working on, like, trying to add from this, like, weird shapes generally just, I don't think is smart. Because this is a sphere, we want to start with a cube. Well, let's start with the knob. So we'll hide everything. Yeah. If I can remember how to do that. There it goes. Okay, question with the knob turning thing. Should it be like... one of the ones I saw just a second ago, a real one, was just like a rectangle that was like kind of big in the center, so like it kind of rounded off in the center like that. Or should we make it to where it's like, now this is like the front view, but for this next one it's the side view. Should we make it something more like this, like the one that we saw in the AI image? And then I guess the side view of this one would just be this, right? Like a rectangle, but front view there's a little bit of curve there. And then maybe like an inset there in the center. Because I don't know if this actually lends itself to being a good gumball thing. I think that's what, like, that's a faucet. That's a faucet twisty thing. Now we look at some images again. Yeah, all of the human ones that I see are like the rectangle ones. But that's also just because that was probably cheaper to make. But devil's advocate, it's also going to be easier to make. I found one that has the fancy one, but it looks like a kid's toy. Not a real one. I found another AI generated one. Wait, this is real? $110 in stock. Okay, apparently that gumball machine I sent, you can buy it. Huh. We'll make the twisty. I've got a good reference for the twisty now. It's $50 at Home Depot. As an American, am I legally allowed to set up a gumball machine in my front lawn to make some extra money? Depends. Oh, well, it depends on what? Now you got me asking questions. Are you in an HOA or not? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm in an apartment. So could I set up a gumball machine outside my apartment? Huh? Now, let's elevate that. Let's say the answer to that question is yes, I can. What say you the difference between a gumball machine and a vending machine? They both exchange currency for a food item. Could I put a vending machine outside my apartment? Huh? How we feel about that one? I'm pretty sure that's also possible. I'm gonna Google it. Can I set up a vending machine outside? You know what? We'll start with something more likely to have been Googled. Outside my home. Yes. But it is heavily restricted. Most residential zones prohibit running commercial operations or placing standalone business structure in front yards. You also have to deal with HOA, local permits, sales tax, weatherproofing, and security risks. You can't put it onto public sidewalks. Municipalities typically require a general business license What if it's a kid that wants to sell lemonade, but rather than a lemonade stand, I set up a vending machine, but it's still the kids? Huh? Huh? How deep can I run these loopholes? People have left, by the way. Remember when Kevin said happy 10 viewer? We're down to 5. But for those of you who have stuck around, thank you. I was gonna say something like inspirational, motivational, like couldn't come up with anything. Actually, while this is large, we're gonna make the twisties. There's a smart way to do this. Oh, come on, you're telling me I can't bisect? Okay. And then... Nice. So it looks like it goes all the way out first. And let's do like, I don't know, a clean 0.4. And then from here, it has like these little loops in it. And then here we can clean this up a little bit. Okay. Then mark these as sharp. Mark this entire bottom bit as sharp. Maybe these two? Definitely these also. Should we have like a little indent on this, I wonder? Looks good. Okay, then just like a little faceplate with like a little scoop in the middle. So add mesh cube. I don't know, like 0.2? I might need to look at a reference image again. This feels kind of off. Unless it goes all the way down into the machine like that. That still feels kind of weird. Hold on. I mean, that is kind of what they do. Like this. At a bit of an angle, you think? And you're right, speaking of the crank, we need to add the place for the coin to go. The coin slot will be like right there. Snap to edge. those are lined up perfectly. And then this, we are gonna cheat. Because, like, I could try to figure out how to, like, cut a hole in this. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. But you're gonna do this. Reduce its size to about the size of a coin. Bit smaller. Sure. This won't be like... This isn't meant to be an object that people look super close up to, so I'm fine with more polys. Modifier disabled. Oh. It's because I whoops. I added it as part of the object rather than making it separate. That was my bad. What? Oh, I guess that's fine. I can work with that. And then a place for the gumball to come out. Should be underneath that. I'm trying to think if it should also be a circle or maybe like a little... Should it be a square? I feel like there's some square ones. Oh, we should... mark sharp. Most of this is going to be sharp. The one part that we don't want sharp is like the inside of the that coin slot. Because if it was smooth, or flat rather, looks kind of bumpy. Like you can definitely see the polygons a lot more than you can like that. Yeah, square metal flap door. We might not even need to have like a fake opening. We could just have a little flap. Let me take a look at another reference shot. Maybe a little less trapezoidy. I don't know, what do we think? And then since this is all going to be one object, technically the whole thing, I think I need to like mark the edges. Because when I combine them into one, they're going to want to all be shade smooth. Where's my mark sharp? There it is. Think angle it outwards a bit. Huh? Gumball machine. Alright, now we're gonna do... we're gonna prep for the actual material color. Do that a couple ways. Let's go into mesh or vertex painting. And this whole thing is just gonna have well, it's gonna have two textures, or two materials to it, so let's actually do that first. Because this is our glass. Everything else we can, like, pack into one, but this is, like, the one thing where it's gonna need its own. Because, like, trying to have, like, mixed opacity stuff apparently is tough. And it's generally recommended not to do. Sign. And then, what is it? Control I. We're going to call this base. And assign. Now, if I really wanted to, I could, like, make each of these their own material. I don't need that many materials, though. This is not a super important object. I'm fine using, like, one PNG to cover most of this. But I do want to make it easier for me to use in Substance Painter, so I'm going to go to Vertex Paint. And then let's see, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. And then if I control L. So anything I want to be this color. So, like all of this is metallic. Well, let's start with something that we know is all going to be the same, right? This base. This base minus U. There's a way just to do like, there it is, there it is. Now we're going to do paint. Nope, not sample color. There's my color wheel. Now it's blue. It's not actually going to be blue when we get in there, but you'll see kind of why we're doing it like this. So now all of these, I'm trying to think if any of these need to be different like material or if these can all just be metal. Let me look at the reference again. Because these all just kind of look like the same type of metal. And I think maybe for simplicity, we can at least just start with it being metal. So Control L there, by the way, is like selecting linked. So because these were initially their own separate objects that I merged together, it still recognizes them kind of as separate with Control L. And so that's just selecting them like in edit mode as an individual object. So I'm gonna set this to like red. We're gonna do paint. Set vertex colors. And then we don't, it's not a huge deal, but we're also going to do it for, yes. I think I also could have selected the material and then done like, I think there's a select button usually, but just in case there's not, we've already come this far. We'll have this be green. We'll set vertex color. There we go. Let's see if I was right. No, in edit mode I think there is. So here I can select. If you do edit mode, then go back to vertex paint. Okay, let's see. Is that consistent? Okay, it is. So if you make selections in edit mode and you go back to vertex paint, it carries over your selection, which is good to know. So all in all, this is what it looks like. So the blue will all be one type of texture, the green will be another, and the red will be another. For the sake of time, we'll texture it up tonight, but we won't do the glass part. So when we get in engine, because I do want to get to the point where this is imported in engine tonight, so we can see how it looks in the final. But we're not going to do the glass part. We'll do the rest. We'll do the rest. So I'm going to export as FBX. I have an Unreal Engine mesh preset that I like to use, so I'm going to use that. And then I need to navigate to my project. I'm making a props folder and then a gumball machine folder in my Unreal Engine project, and then I'm saving it there. So now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and we're going to open up Substance Painter, which I got on Steam. There are a few ways to get it. But I have the Steam version, which means I think I get updates for a year from the time that I buy it, and then they cut me off. It's a cool tool, though. So if you have means to get it somehow, I recommend it. I think it's updating. Running install script, Microsoft VC redistributable. Awesome. So while we wait, here, let's go back here. How we all doing tonight? Ooh, look at him. Oh, he's gonna catch on fire. Zoned out to the point where I forgot I was listening to this live and I got so confused as to who was talking. There isn't like, I hope it didn't prompt me to say like yes or something. And I'm just like not seeing the prompt. How long does it take to install stuff? Thanks, Microsoft. Sorry for this unexpected delay. I guess I should have tried to do this sooner while I was working on the thing, huh? You know what? We can start to prep the Unreal Engine stuff. Let's do that now. It'll serve as a good before and after us giving it a good material. They're installing malware and hacking my Unreal folders to delete all the game development. No, they're gonna steal it because it's so good. I've done such good work, and they're like, man, we don't know how to do that ourselves. They're just jealous. So in Unreal Engine, let's jump back to the engine. Oh, this is not the view I wanted you to see, but you know what? That's good enough. If you're importing and you're gonna make your own material anyway, make sure you set material import method to don't create new ones. And if you didn't add textures in Blender, which we didn't do, keep import textures off. All of the other defaults, I think you're fine. So now if we go to... I don't remember. I need to clean up my folder structure. I said I would do that like 10 times now. Meshes. Props. Gumball machine. Here it is. We did forget to do one thing. You can see that the, like the sphere looks okay, but the textures down there are stretched, which is an easy fix. We just have to go back into it. So back here, in edit mode, hit U, and then just Smart UV project. There are like, if you really want to get into the weeds of it, you can like split seams and do all that yourself. I just let Blender figure it out for me. Doesn't make too much of a difference for something small like this. But if you wanted absolute control over like how it splits these UVs, the idea is that what Substance Painter is going to do is I say, hey, I want this thing here to be metal. And so it'll make a PNG, and it's opening up right now as I'm trying to explain this. It's overlapping my Blender view. It'll make a PNG that has metal textures, but only on the parts where like that windy piece is, and it will leave the rest of this alone. And then if I say I want this to be red, it'll make a texture that's just red in these parts. Because this entire thing is just one PNG that Unreal Engine is going to get. And then it maps this to this. So now that we've done that, we save. was saving in the wrong location. 5.3 content. Meshes, props, gumball machine, gumball machine dot blend, and then also the XBX export, FBX export. Then Unreal Engine is going to prompt me saying, do I want to import new changes? I say yes. And now back here, that looks wrong. So let's go back and try to figure out why. This is one of those things where it's like doing it manually is probably the smart way. Angle based? No, it's too weird. You can just try a couple settings. I mean, this might be a bit better. Let's try that. It's still kind of messy. So this is like, particularly around the spheres. So I guess the Smart UV project has, like, it struggles with that. For now, I think it'll still map it correctly. It's just we might see some weirdness. We can return to that next time, but let's at least get the textures on there. We have something to compare that to. And before I do that, let's give it the blank material that I've been using. Architecture, floor. I'm gonna call this MMS Gumball Machine. And this is essentially like a Quixel material that I downloaded, and it lets me just throw in 3 texture files right here, which Substance Painter is going to give us right now. So let's head on over there. At this point, the stream tends to like start dying, so if it gets to that point, sorry, or good night, one of the two. You guys can't see this, but as soon as I dropped in, I went to File, New, and then it gave me an option to select a file. I'm selecting the gumball mesh .fbx. Click OK, and then it should show up here. One thing we want to do first is go to Texture and Settings and Bake mesh maps. If I can remember this. Okay. Down at ID, we change this from material color to vertex color, and then bake. And it'll look like nothing happened, but if we go back to painting, and we look for like plastic, plastic matte, plastic used, plastic shiny. Okay, so we can see, and we can change this too if we want. But like it applied this to like the twisty thing. We didn't want that. But if we go to add black, no. Add mask with color selection, pick color blue, then it only applies it to the actual plastic piece. The same thing if we want metal. Aluminum? Try a few. That doesn't look too bad. Neither does that. Actually, I like that one. We'll stick with this. Same thing. Color selection. And then maybe like another like... We'll have to come back and do glass at another time because I forgot how to do that. But we'll do this for now. Another thing, like you can also like add effects and filters. So like if I wanted to add like edges, like dirt edges, I could do that and it adds it down there. This is where like having the better UVs would work, but this one doesn't look too bad. Sand though, do we have damage? Dirt? You're thinking a shiny plastic? We can swap pretty easily. We'll stick with this and we'll change this color like the dark red. Plastic used but shiny. And we can also like change the shininess factor in engine also. Should be a little bit more red. Move this down. So here we can see that it applied like that to the wrong thing. I think we can also just add a color selection filter to this too. To the fill layer. trying to see who was the one that like... Oops. I forgot which one was the filter. Okay, so it was that one. That's weird though. It does kind of like lose some of it when I apply that filter. What if we change it to black so that it does kind of work for both? And then obviously there are a ton of filters to play around with too. And I'm sure there are a lot like custom ones online also. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Now you go to File. I'm going to hit Save As first just so I can load back into this if I need to. And I've been committing these also. Just so like if I need to roll back to like a certain version, this gets included with it. I don't know if that's smart because I don't know how big these are. I would have to check. But then you can go to Export Texture. I'm going to change my output directory to where I have the Gumball model. Output template is Unreal Engine. File type you want PNG. Output template. There's an Unreal Engine SSS packed, and I think you just don't want the emissive. Everything else is good. There's probably a better tutorial online that'll show you like exactly what all these exports mean that you aren't seeing right now. But just to show you again. So settings, output directory, I just put it to where my FBX is. I chose this one. It had an emissive one. Nothing here is glowing, so I got rid of that. And then I just hit export. And then as soon as it's done exporting, it should show up in Unreal Engine almost immediately. So let's go ahead and do that. Unreal Engine is saying it found 6 new files, so we'll say yes. So the reason it found 6 is because it is 2 materials, so one for the glass ball, and then one for the rest of it. We only care about the first 3, which are these. So I'm gonna open this up off screen, and have it on my second monitor so I can click and drag. Then I'll show you what I did. And then I'll make a second one of these and call it underscore glass. And then load those two. I don't know how important it was for us to have the 3 extra made now. But whatever. Just do that. And then down here you can see that we have those 2 sections. We just assign it to the right one. Assign it to the right one. This looks a bit faded, and that's because of some of the settings that I have here. And so this is what I clicked and dragged into. Because I copy-pasted it into one where I had it a bit more faded. If we turn that off, And let's also, like, as you said, make it a bit more shiny, which is our roughness. So there's the shine, you can see. A bit easier. Let's get it near some lighting. There you go. A gumball machine. And the texture is actually blended together enough to the point where the Smart UV unwrap worked enough. Something like that, it's not really worth the time it would take to go in and really fix it up. Because it's such a small prop. It's like it's a Passover type of prop. Where someone would be like, oh, cool. And then they keep going. So spending hours to fix like some of the seam issues we have here isn't really worth it in my opinion. Alright, cool. Prop done. Inventory cleaned up also tonight. 2 hours, 20 minutes. 20 minutes over what I usually shoot for. But a lot of success tonight. A lot of good stuff being done. Usually we have like sometimes even 3 hours and not a lot of progress. So, full status report. We updated the UI. Buttons are responsive now. We can pick up items. We've always been able to pick up items prior to today, but now it gives us the name. We can press these buttons. They line up correctly. We can try to use it, and if the item can't be used, this was implemented already. Dropping doesn't work. I'll have to fix that. And then we made the gumball machine, started in Blender. Go ahead and show that off again. Blender. Made this whole thing from nothing. And then we went to Substance Painter, where we added the textures to it. Either offline or next time, we'll do the glass, which we've done before in Unreal Engine. If we look over here, that's how I made like this glass door with even that little decal on it. But that is all from me for tonight. If you want to drop in next time, I usually stream Wednesday. Can't speak. Try that again. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. PT, which is about 2.5 hours ago. So it's currently about 8:30 p.m. for me. All right. Any final questions, anybody, before we sign off and say goodnight? And if you want to tune in, obviously there's a Discord, which the bot's been throwing the link at the whole time. You're more than welcome to join. There's a schedule page that has the schedule updated to your local time. So I can show you what that looks like. It is the Halloween headquarters Discord. Jump to the Discord page. Here it is. So here, because I'm PT, it tells me that it was August 5th, 6 p.m. PT. So, otherwise, if you don't want to use the Discord, just subscribe or follow if you're on Twitch. That's going to be the easiest way to find when I go live next. One more thing I did want to shout out before we go. The past couple of streams, I was working on a different project, which was being directed by someone else. I told you I would get some like social links to that project, the Moon Wound, and I got those. He's working on setting up a Steam page for it. It's a horror game set on a moon base that I'm helping the coding for. So that's not part of the Halloween thing that we're doing here on this channel, but if you want to check it out, I would appreciate it. They're doing a lot of cool stuff on their team. I'll send the links to those now. Preferred cream cheese flavor, strawberry. Did it only send the one link on YouTube? Anyway. No, it did. It did it. If you're in the Discord, I'll send it again. Alright, thank you all for joining tonight. All 14 of you on YouTube and 4 of you on Twitch. I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. Even if you don't chat, it's just cool kind of hanging out. I hope you enjoy your Halloween spooky season. We will continue to do this until Halloween night, where hopefully I have something ready for you all to play. Until then, stay safe. Make cool things if you like making things. And where's my ending screen? There it goes. There it is. Have a good night. I'll see you next week.